Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT coming to give you the results from the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and the Marco Reyes fight. Just happened, just got done. Julio Cesar Chavez, pretty much did what he had to do to get the win, fighting a guy who really is a middleweight, a 154 pounder. He blew up from 154, and I think he rehydrated tonight around 173, 174 So Marco Reyes was fighting at a weight he's not very comfortable at. It was the exact type of matchup that if you were Julio Cesar Chavez, you wanted. And he did what he had to do, just overall assessment and what happened. He won the fight. All the judges scored the fight in his favor. The 98-91, one of the judges had it, which was very lopsided. I didn't agree with that. 98-91, the other one was 96-93, and I know Steve Farhood's unofficial scorecard had Chavez Jr. winning 96-93 as well. So with that being said, overall assessment of the fight, Julio Cesar Chavez was coming off a very, very, very tough loss to Fonfara. He quit on the stool and has caught a lot of flack for it. So he fights a guy tonight, Marco Reyes, who is not a B-level fighter like Fonfara was. Definitely not an A-level fighter. And he was a blown-up 154 pounder. So the odds were stacked in Chavez's favor. And wasn't very impressed with his performance. I mean, he did what he had to do. He used his size. He imposed his will. So we give him credit where it's due there. But as far as looking sensational and seeing any improvements from his last performance against Fonfara, we saw the same Chavez Jr. we're used to seeing. Come forward, throwing tons of power shots, left hooks to the body, and whatnot. He wasn't there wasn't much skill there. We didn't see a whole lot of skill from Cesar Chavez, and he didn't even knock out a guy who was smaller than him, a guy who very easily should have just been knocked out. Marco Reyes, his only chance to win this fight was to keep the fight in the center of the ring. He did not do that. Chavez could do whatever he wanted for the majority of the fight. And, he didn't really throw that jab too much, didn't establish that jab. When he did, there was a few times in probably the fourth or fifth round when he was working that jab and had some, he was working it in with some combos. But besides that, we didn't see anything from Chavez. So, what do we make of the performance? It's whatever. Chavez didn't do a whole lot to silence the critics. It was a win he was supposed to get. And the fact that he didn't knock out a blown up 154 pounder just looks bad on him. So Chavez Jr., easy that matchup that was in his favor. And where does he go from here? If you look at the landscape of the light heavyweight division, you got Arthur Beterbiev, who's shooting up the ranks. You got Bernard Hopkins, who's still there. Chavez is not ready to go up against any of those guys, any of those world-class fighters in the light heavyweight division. If he does that, or if he fights anybody who has an above-average skill set, he is going to have problems because he fought the same way he did in the Fonfara fight, and he didn't even knock out the guy that he was supposed to knock out. So bad performance. Whatever he did in camp was terrible because in the fourth round, he began slowing down. You saw it. He was slowing down in the fourth round. And then, if he's fighting a guy like Bernard, let's just say he's fighting a guy like Bernard Hopkins, then he's going to have a hard time fighting a guy like Bernard Hopkins because a guy who with that kind of skill, experience, would make easy work of him. And, he was slowing down in the fourth. He was gassed. Reyes had some success jabbing. When he kept it in the center of the ring and he was throwing in the spots, he was good. It was just, at the end of the day, Chavez Jr. didn't even make weight. He came in overweight. So, it was whatever. And, there's really not much to say. Chavez Jr. is never going to live up to what his dad was, and, it's not even fair to put that on him because Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was such a great fighter, but he's not forget even living up to his dad for a second, because everybody gets caught up in is Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. ever gonna live up to what his father did? And people get caught up in that, but Forget that for a second. Will Chavez Jr. ever, even become one of the elites in the light heavyweight division or super middleweight, whatever? No, he's not. And the reason being is he's very one-dimensional. He's not very skilled defensively. Footwork ain't there. Endurance really ain't there. And when he fights the B fighters, the B-level fighters, and if he fights an A-level fighter, he's going to lose every time until those things improve. So, he got the win tonight. I scored at 9-3. I gave him, or not 9-3, 6-4. I gave Reyes 4 rounds. I gave Chavez 6. So with that being said, it was a whatever fight. I enjoyed the undercard. Amir Imam, who I'm going to make a video about in a second, looked sensational. My first time watching him fight, and I've heard a lot about him. He trains right here in South Florida, so hopefully I get a chance to watch him train soon. But I'll have a video on that soon. But Cesar Chavez this fight really didn't do too much for me or the Cesar Chavez Jr. critics. So it's whatever. Leave your comments down below. What is your take on his performance tonight? How do you assess it? And where does he go from here? Take care, guys, and we will talk some boxing.